Hi everyone, it's Lisa from A Simple Season. The list of items that are coming up on the shortage list seems to be getting a little longer every month, and a lot of people are taking the opportunity now to stock up on different grocery items and other essentials and putting those things away, as we are hearing from industry executives and experts that are telling us that we are going to be seeing more widespread and broader shortages of certain items. So now is a really good time to get ahead of that curve and stock up your pantry and maybe your medicine cabinet too of other essentials that you may need. So the first thing on the list is vegetable oils. So not only will we be seeing higher prices and shorter supply of vegetable oils on the shelf, but manufacturers use a lot of vegetable oils to produce salty snacks like chips. So what manufacturers are doing is they're reducing the range and supply of snacks that they're producing, and they're just keeping it to their best-selling items. So as a result, those items will be going up in price. So it's not only vegetable oils that are going to be in shorter supply for us just to buy on the shelf, but also think about all of the snacks and so on that you may eat that contain vegetable oils. So it impacts both of those things. So it may be an idea to put some away if you use it. The next thing is popcorn. The Wall Street Journal just compiled some data recently suggesting that popcorn is going to be in short supply because we had such a bad harvest with it this year. Our harvest was down by 17%, so that is going to affect the supply on the shelf as well as the price. So if you like popcorn, it's a great item to store for a number of reasons because it stores for a long time. And if you're really in a pinch and you need some cornmeal, you can take the unpopped popcorn kernels, put it in a grinder like a coffee grinder or a grain grinder, and you can make cornmeal out of it. So it is a really good grain to store, as well as a healthy snack. Then we have ground beef, and I feel like this entails beef in general, but it involves ground beef in particular, and particularly ground beef products like hamburger patties and the like. So this is because of labor shortages and also because they're just having trouble getting packaging materials. So the way around this is if you find a good deal on ground beef and you can find it on sale, just buy some and make your own hamburger patties or your own products that involve ground beef. The next thing is chicken wings. Now, these are hardly a food staple. Well, they might be for some people, but this is due to the fact that we've lost over 40 million birds to bird flu. So it's not only the chicken wings, but it's that the restaurants are really vying to get the supply of chicken wings for their businesses. So it's going to be less supply for us at the grocery store, but also just chicken in general just seems to have gone up quite a bit in the last year. So if you can find some on sale and put it in the freezer or pressure can it, that's always a great idea. Also, imported foods. Now, this is something that I've been noticing firsthand because I love to buy a lot of imported foods, particularly from Europe. And so they are anticipating shortages for things like wine, cheeses, chocolate, pastas, all of those yummy things from Europe that I love to buy. So if you have a chance to put those things away, you absolutely can, and while they're still available, because I do notice that this supply is dwindling quite a bit for those items, and it's just lack of availability and supply chain issues and the higher cost of diesel and transport costs to get those things exported from Europe to this side of the pond. The next item on the list is frozen fruit. So frozen berries, pineapple, mango, and the like. So if you absolutely need frozen fruit for smoothies or whatever you use frozen fruit for, it's a good idea to maybe stock that up in your freezer. And the reason for this shortage is just because of high transportation costs and also crop failures and lower crop yields. The good news with this is that it should be replenished by next year. or by the summertime. But just to get you through the winter, if you don't have access to fresh fruit in your area, it's a good idea to put it away. The next item on the list is cream cheese. Now, cow herds have been dramatically reduced over the last couple of years, so that's why we are seeing higher prices for dairy products of all sorts, and we can expect to see some real shortages with dairy products going forward. However, if you can get your hands on some cream, you can make your own fresh cheese in about 25 minutes, and you just need a couple of ingredients. And I did do a video on that recently if you wanted to go check it out. But this is something that we will see higher prices for and shorter supply going forward. The next group of products that we're going to be seeing shortages in, and I'll have to admit that this one kind of surprised me a little bit, was vegan products. A gentleman by the name of Rick Williams, who works for JPG Resources, stated that things like tofu and plant-based proteins and plant-based cheeses are not going to be as abundant in the grocery stores as they once were. So even if you're vegan or vegetarian or you don't consume meat or any dairy products, you still will experience some shortages. And this is basically due to the fact that the soy production hasn't been what it was due to drought and all kinds of supply chain issues. And also some people have been moving from meat sources into plant-based proteins, and the market just hasn't been able to keep up with the demand. So these things will probably be resolved within the next year, year and a half. But in the meantime, if you do consume vegan products, it may be a good idea to put some away. Also, oat milk and oat products, and this is due to weaker than expected harvests in the US and also Canada not exporting as much as it normally would. So this is going to impact us at least until next year's harvest, until we see what that brings. And also a good thing to remember is that this will also impact cereal makers as well. And Tylenol. I know where I live in Canada, we've been out of children's Tylenol for months, and I've heard stories of people crossing the border into the US to purchase Tylenol. And this is just due to a spike in respiratory illnesses for kids. A lot of kids are coming down with this. However, that shortage is going into the US as well. And in my completely uneducated opinion, this could translate into a shortage for adults as well. So I think it's a good idea just to have a bottle put away and maybe even some cold medication if you use those things. Now, the last thing that there's a shortage of, and I think it's a little bit of a weird one, is cookware. Now, the reason there's a shortage of cookware is that people are learning and cooking at home. So in my opinion, I think this shortage is actually a little bit of a silver lining, because I think it's always a good thing when people are learning a new skill that helps sustain them. However, with all of the holidays coming up and all of the discount events that are going on right now, it is putting a squeeze on the supply of pots and pans and air fryers and food processors and all kinds of other kitchen gadgets. So if you do need anything, now is definitely a good time to pick whatever you need up for your kitchen. So after going through this list, another thing that I forgot to mention was pickles was on the list as well, and that's due to a glass jar shortage. So a lot of these foods I've realized are convenience items. So if we look at maybe the oat products and cereal manufacturers and oat milk and hamburger patties that are pre-made and potato chips, a lot of those things are just kind of convenience items. So I think as long as we're able to cook at home and learn how to make more things from scratch, we should be able to navigate through these shortages fairly well. And I think we just kind of need to remain positive and open-minded in terms of moving around other food sources that we can use instead. So for example, if you're used to having oat milk, you can make it at home in 5 minutes. I did make a video on that not too long ago, and it's a super easy process to do. So making your own hamburger patties, if you can find some beef on sale or source it from a local farmer, which would be even better to support your local economy, that's really great too. So I think it's good to just keep a positive attitude as we move forward. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.